it's your girl Bondy Blue, and I am back for another 911 review. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So, some kids are on a school field trip with a teacher who does not play, but they seem to still end up getting into some trouble. Two young boys are running through the maze in the pumpkin patch, and they see some crows on a scarecrow and decide to throw rocks at the crows. And then the crows chase them and peck them the entire way, okay? And then they run into a barn and they're hiding there. And the crows are sitting outside like, come outside, come outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, in the Cardi B lyric, but you know, it's the beginning of the video. Can't be saying words like that, okay? But like I was saying, obviously the crows are upset and they have to call the fire department. Somebody to get those kids out of the barn unharmed because those crows know who they looking for, okay? So the crew gets on the scene. They realize what's going on. They got to go in there and get the kids. They also have to attend to some of the wounds that the boy got all on the back of his neck. I said, oh, that'll teach you. That'll teach you. Because, see, I don't like stuff like that. I don't like people doing stuff like that to animals and birds. Like, you minding their business and you throwing rocks at them. Like, what's wrong with you? You deserve everything you got, little boy. Learn this lesson. Learn it, okay? But I think they dressed them up with, like, the fire jackets on them so the crows wouldn't recognize them as boys. And they do kind of get to the car, but there's this one crow that seems to know exactly what's going on. So he's kind of like walking backwards, but watching them. And Chimney makes eye contact. Henrietta seems to know a lot about crows. So she says once you make eye contact, you can control the emotion of the crow. But it's not sure whether that will be positive or negative. Chimney connects though. Okay, he connects and they're able to get the boys out safely. I was like, yeah, but that crow, he ain't done yet. He's not done. He followed them. He followed them all the way back to the fire station. And at some point, Chimney thought he was losing his mind and he was the only one seeing the crow. But really, the crow was smart and was disappearing before anybody else could see him. All he had to do was fly away. Buck and Athena are getting ready for dinner, and he's anticipating Buck coming back to work. He's a bit nervous. They make sure that Buck could not sue anybody ever again in that department. He had to sign a whole bunch of forms and all of this, but he wanted to come back to work, and Bobby just doesn't know how to feel about it. When Buck does get back to work, there's no welcome back table, banners, nothing. And everybody's ignoring him with the exception of Henrietta because they are following Bobby's lead on this. He is the captain, all right? Henrietta is, you know, walking to the beat of her own drum, so ain't nobody about to tell her how to feel. You kind of messed up here, Buck. I'm glad. I felt like he needed to receive the cold shoulder. He went about that the wrong way completely and didn't seem to really grasp it. It's like as long as it was what he wanted to do in the moment, that's all that matters. And the fact that you didn't even think about what you were doing to everybody else, you just sat there and let it happen. Like, I don't know if I could have really trusted Buck after that. But you know what? We're going to get to it. Maddie drops off her trainer at home. She's still sneaking around hanging with this woman under a false pretense. She asks if she can use the bathroom inside the lady's house. Her car broke down, so Maddie brought her home. And she goes upstairs, not in the bathroom, and it's all in their bedroom looking at stuff. I said, what was you gonna find in that lady's bedroom? What was the point of that? I didn't understand that at all. Okay, but they sit down and have a glass of wine. The trainer obviously is not about to pay too close attention to this at this moment, but she was definitely wondering why this girl was just walking around her house when she was just supposed to be going to the bathroom. So they drink the wine and Maddie tells the trainer about her ex and how he didn't want her to have any friends. But you know what? She got out. And it's a very similar situation to what the trainer was talking about. He doesn't want her to have any friends. He doesn't want her to do anything. Like, he's calling her constantly, complaining about her hanging with the girl. It's a lot. Maddie and Chimney go on a date and end up running into the trainer and her husband. And when Maddie is spinning the lies that she's been telling the trainer, Chimney's face is deceiving her, okay? Chimney's face has the truth written on it, and Maddie ain't telling it. After they're done having this awkward exchange where the stares are just a little bit too long, Chimney asks why she was lying to that lady, saying that she was a nurse and all of this stuff. And then she explains that the trainer called 911 5 times within the last couple of months, and she believes that she's being abused and she can see it. And Chimney is like, okay, fine, but this is not the way you handle it. You're acting just like your ex, sneaking into my life under false pretenses. That's exactly what you're doing to this trainer girl. Cut it out. He says that Maddie needs to tell the truth. Maddie is still delusional about what she's doing at this point, but it does put something on her mind. Chimney was upset, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. Like you said, it's a late night, Halloween is tomorrow, busy day, gotta go. He was upset. He should have been upset. So Buck is once again complaining about the busy work he's been tasked with since Bobby hasn't allowed him to get back out there in the field. Bobby says that he hopes he's alive to see the day when Buck learns to stop pushing and just be patient. I said, I don't know if you will live to see that day. I don't. Chimney tells him the same thing. You know, just suck it up and deal with it. Oh my God, you gotta pass out candy. Like, eventually they'll need you to get back out there saving lives and stuff. So just chill out and eat some of the candy and shut up. So Buck is giving out the candy, right? And there's this badass kid trying to get more candy out of him. And then starts to say he's not a real firefighter and all of this. And I'm like, look, Augustus Gloop, get out of my face. You can only take 2 candies. Deal with it. After that is done, Buck tries to talk to Eddie, but Eddie don't see it for Buck right now. He is still very, very upset and feels like Buck should have thought about their friendships when he was filing that lawsuit. Okay? I'm glad. Give him a hard time, Eddie. Then we see a lady driving on the road. Okay, she was on a phone call, got off the phone, and then ended up running into some bikers. I wasn't really sure how it happened, but she ran into one of the bikers and he went through her windshield, and she had this huge bump on her head, so she obviously had a brain bleed or some, obviously concussion or something, but she didn't know. She just kept going on with her life like this guy wasn't hanging through her windshield. But because it's Halloween, she was able to drive around for 2 days with a body hanging out of her windshield. I mean, she went inside, went to bed, came back outside, got back in the car, forgot a list, ran back inside, came back outside, and the man is still alive in her windshield. I said, now y'all know this could not possibly be real. Y'all know that man was supposed to die. There's no way that man would have lived for 2 days inside of a windshield bleeding out. There's no way. There's no way. Come on now, 911. What's going on? Like, really? 2 days he supposed to still be alive? All right, fine, whatever y'all want. A family saw her driving down the street and called 911. Maddie answered the call, but they were receiving a lot of calls like that, and a lot of them weren't real, so people weren't really taking it that seriously. Then a dead-looking girl shows up on a man's doorstep. At first, he thought she was a trick-or-treater, but then she passed out, and they called 911, took her to the hospital. Come to find out, she's been being starved, she's dehydrated, and it's like been long-term abuse, and she also had signs that she had been chained up. Athena was the responding officer. So she tells her people, her little street cops, that they need to find out where this girl came from. So they went back to where the house was that she had walked to. And then they looked for the house that had the least Halloween decorations, because you the house that you don't want nobody showing up to your house if you chaining people up, okay? So Athena finds the house and goes into the house. There's some glass broken. It's dark in there. It's nasty looking. And then she goes down to the basement where there's obviously this really bad smell. And there are at least 5, maybe 6, 7 teenagers and kids all chained to beds down in the basement. So Athena calls the ambulance, and then the parents come running to the house because we had just found out that these kids weren't kidnapped. They were all siblings. It was their parents that had done this to them. The parents actually showed up because they were out there looking for the other daughter. And that is when Athena told them that they were being arrested for child abuse. Talking about we had to protect our kids. Like, what is wrong with you? How is not feeding your children or giving them water protecting them? Oh, I can't stand people. So Maddie's trainer shows up at the 911 call center. So she found out where Maddie worked and showed up highly upset. She says, you've been stalking me and lying about who you are, and I thought you were my friend, and all of this type of stuff. And Maddie is like, I was trying to be your friend, okay? I've been in a situation just like yours, and I was just trying to help you. And she was like, I'm not one of those women. And Maddie was like, I used to say the same thing. And she was like, no, you stay away from me, and you stay away from my husband. And then her boss come walking in, and Maddie had to sit down and be reprimanded. But Maddie thought this was a game. That lady said, no, you're going to therapy. You're going to therapy, and then we will revisit you coming back to work on a regular basis. But you need to go to therapy first. Not on my watch. Henrietta tells Bobby that Buck made his choice and that he's serious about being a firefighter. Because, of course, Bobby often confides in Henrietta and she gives good advice. So he was wondering if she felt like he was going too hard on Buck. And she says, you know, she get where he coming from, but Buck is serious about being a firefighter, even though Bobby feels like he still doesn't get it, like he's not taking it seriously. But I feel like, are we still there? He's taking it seriously, but he just is impulsive and acts like a child. That's the problem, okay? But yeah, either let him work or let him go. That's what Henrietta tells. Buck tries once again to talk to Eddie, who tells him that he only thinks about himself. Buck admits that he was so angry and just wanted to hurt Bobby and really just wanted to hurt somebody, period, but specifically Bobby. Eddie decides to forgive him, but tells him that team members don't do what he did. Team members forgive, so he gonna forgive him, but it better not happen again. Then Bobby comes to him and tells him, you know, he can go home early. You know, you did a good job with the candy, go ahead and leave early. All right, the next time we see Buck, he's at a gas station and he sees that lady with the guy through the windshield. He thought it was a joke at first, but then he saw the guy's leg move. So he gets in his car, runs her down, calls the ambulance, calls the police, and he goes in the car to check on the guy, and he must have like got cut from all the shreds of glass. So after everybody's been rescued, the man's still alive. Okay, after 2 days of riding around in this lady's windshield, he ain't bleed out, nothing. Okay, fine, whatever. But back to Buck. Buck is bleeding and he tells the paramedic that he's on blood thinners. And I think this was a realization for Buck, like how quickly things could happen in his current condition. But at the same time, he still wants to get back on the job. It doesn't matter that he was just bleeding all over the place once again. Bobby shows up to the hospital because he heard that Buck was hurt. When he realizes that Buck saved 2 lives without a thought for himself, Bobby says that he's ready to come back to the job. This is who he is. And then they go have breakfast together. So that was tied up in a pretty bow for us. I still feel like Bobby should have been a little harder on Buck. Like, I know he's serious and all of that, but he did try to sue y'all. And that could have caused you to lose your job. Also, he could come back and be bleeding all over the place. You know, like, what if you know, you would have got somebody else's blood in your blood and you would have got an STD or something like that. You know, I'm just saying, like, it's blood. So anybody can have anything and then pass it on to you. You can get, you know, anything can happen. So I just kind of felt like that was a sign that maybe he needed to be a little bit more patient with his own body. But here come Bobby giving him what he wants. But I guess. Y'all, Maddie goes and apologizes to Chimney and tells him that he was right. I'm like, yeah, after you almost lost your job. He tells her that he keeps seeing that crow. And she said, "What's talking about that crow right there?" So he turns around and he's like, "You can see it too?" She was like, "Yeah, I can see the crow." And he walks up on the crow and the crow drops his nameplate. Apparently, he had lost his nameplate when they were at the pumpkin patch. He was looking for it. It kept falling off. And the owl followed him just so he could see where to bring the pin back to. I said, "Oh, y'all friends, baby. You don't even know, Chimney, you got friends out here in the crow community. That's what's up. That's what's up." So yeah, y'all, that was 911. I mean, yeah, there's some things that just cannot possibly happen. But at the same time, I don't watch 911 for real stuff that much. I mean, a black person got accosted episode before last. I don't need nothing else that serious. I'm okay with the guy who probably should have died still being alive. That's fine. I'll take that, okay? I want happy endings, people. Y'all, I'm so sick. I'm so exhausted and I still got some more videos to do. Pray for me. All right, I love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next one.